Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. And today is just gonna be me and Amazing. We had to knock this one out. Pretty old. We done went to the movies to watch Captain America: Brave New World. So we finally got around to doing the review. But all right, let me go ahead and pull up the slides and we'll jump right into it. So, Captain America: Brave New World is a 2025 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics featuring the character Sam Wilson, aka Captain America. So, the plot to this: Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, finds himself in the middle of an international incident and must discover the motive behind a nefarious global plan. So, all right, the directors and producers. So, directed by Julius Ona and produced by Kevin Feige and Nate Moore. And Julius, sorry if I butchered your name, but so let me go ahead and we're gonna play the trailer before we give our rating and stuff on this movie. So 1 second.
You asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not. Wait for it. We're on the brink of war. I can't trust anyone. Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest. I don't want a variable out there that I can't control.
Stop!
Captain America caught without his wings.
You'd like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap?
You don't even know what this is.
Since when were they red?
You want me? Come and get me!
But all right, so let me pull. Well, let me get through the cast real quick. So forgot that slide. But so Anthony Mackie, he was Sam Wilson, aka Captain America. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, Falcon. Shira Haas as Ruth, Bat, Sarah. Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. Zosha as Leela Taylor. Guyanardo Esposito as Seth Volker. God, I know I butchered that. Liz Tyler as Betty Ross. So, all right, we're going to jump into the rating scale. So, I'll go ahead and I'll set it off. I gave this one a 7 between good and very good. What about you, Amazing?
I gave it an 8, actually. I thought it was excellent. I'm not really like, this ain't my like movie in general, but I do like the Captain America movies. I think they have a good story.
Okay, shit. Okay, we definitely got a big difference between us. So, all right, I'll go ahead. I'll start it off. The reason I gave it a 7, I actually thought it was a real good movie. So like, since I'm big in the comic books, I think that's what dropped my score a little bit because, like I said, I like the action, some of the plot that they had where Captain America was gone, but I wish they would have just like not made him Captain America, just kept him as like Falcon or gave him a new name where it's like the Patriot and just like kind of let the Captain America go. Don't tie him to that old character because I think sometimes in like comic books, it seems like our comic movies they want to keep utilizing the same characters and adapting them a little bit. Where it's just like I think they had a good storyline and Anthony Mackie did a great job and they had the technology. So it's just like, man, separate from Captain America. It kind of was for the older generation. It was like, man, okay, you got these new guys that could fly, Falcon, and you got his partner. So it's just like, man, build off of that. Like, shoot, have a whole team of like people that, off of birds or something, like they have a whole group. So I think they would, I wish they would have went that direction. And, if I was the director and the producer, that's what I would have made the change, that pivot. And if they would have done something like that, I would have had it in probably the 8 territory like you. But I thought the plot and the storyline was good because, like I said, it showed like the old general that was in the Hulk movie. I like how they kind of attached to that, where he pretty much was trying to destroy the whole Avengers and stuff like that. But now he's a president, so he's like, hey man, I got a whole new insight. I got to look at the United States holistically versus how he was in the prior movies and stuff. So I like how they showed the brainwashing and then the one villain, how he was always like 2 to 3 steps ahead, how he had everything like planned out and everybody pretty much brainwashed and he brought back the Red Hulk program. So I like that whole storyline, how that kind of played out. And I would say the scenes and performances that stuck out, actually, I thought the movie flowed pretty good. All the fighting scenes, especially like when they had the battleship one where they're flying in the skies. I thought that was a great scene because, it had a lot of action and it showed the capabilities of, their, I say, technology and fighter technology that they had. And then also, of course, the last scene with Hulk, when Anthony Mackie was getting his ass whipped by Red Hulk. I thought that was definitely a great scene. So performances that stuck out, definitely Anthony Mackie. Like I said, the new Falcon, the guy that played Isaiah Bradley had a good role, and even Red Hulk. So I thought they had a real good cast of this. Again, I wish they just would have like left the whole Captain America, just like mention them like, hey man, this is the new program that we're gonna have. We're gonna move it forward and move to what pivoted from that whole section instead of making him Captain America. And would I recommend this movie to anyone? Absolutely. I think you should watch it. Like, even though I have some of my gripes, it was still a great movie. But all right, amazing. I'll kick it over to you.
So I gave it an 8, a little bit opposite of why you gave it a lower for the comic book reason, because I'm not familiar with the comic books, but I felt like I could like jump right into this movie. So it's one of those movies where I don't think you obviously don't have to have read any of the comic books or even watch the other movies, but you can still follow along. Well, now I do think it would be better just to know different backgrounds and kind of how everything comes together. But that's why I gave it an 8, just because I liked the way I didn't necessarily have to know a lot of the background or what was going on, because it gave me enough information just to watch that one movie as a standalone almost if I wanted to. Plot and storyline, I mean, kind of just talked about that a little bit. You could tell what you have an overview of the plot, the storyline, everything really went along. It wasn't choppy or anything. You knew what was happening even without necessarily having the history on each of the characters. And scenes that stood out for me. One of the scenes I really liked was when I'm trying to think of his name, Isaiah Bradley, when he had first made that shot at the when they were in that president I don't know what that was, a dinner meeting, whatever they were doing when they were looking at buying things, and he pulled out the gun and made a shot, and everybody kind of chased him down, and he got tearful and was crying and saying that he can't go back there. That was a very moving scene. I thought that he was just like a very good actor. And so that I liked that scene a lot. I really liked I thought the relationship between Captain America and Joaquin was really good. I just felt like their characters, they just had a really good chemistry as kind of like friends, but co-heroes, I guess. So I thought they had a great chemistry. I also liked Dr. Stearns and how all of that kind of came about, where with President Thaddeus, you knew something was going on. He's taking these pills and he would start to get angry, but you didn't necessarily know right away. And then again, it was new for me when all of a sudden it's like this whole back history with Dr. Stearns. So I thought that was just a good play on everything. And I thought Harrison Ford, obviously, he's a great actor. The other things for actors that I personally just thought was pretty neat was Harrison Ford being 82, I think, when that movie shot. So he does not look that old to me. And then I looked up the age of the actor for Isaiah Bradley, and he was 73. So I thought it was neat just that they're like so old and just did a great job, and you would have never ever thought they were that old. I wouldn't necessarily do anything differently. Like I said, I thought it was a good movie. I rated it excellent, but again, I don't necessarily have the history with comics where somebody, I think they're normally a little more hard on movies because they don't line up correct or whatever. And I definitely would recommend the movie. Oh, I also really liked the ongoing relationship between President Thaddeus trying to get Betty, his daughter, to talk to him, and then kind of how at the end of the movie that comes together and the kind of like that final fight situation when they're able to speak. So I like that as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that
one
makes.
more.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just thought this was funny because I recognized my boy Alex Trudeau's voice right away when President Thaddeus was on his Peloton, and Alex came over. So shout out to him.
You and that damn Peloton. You did say that though. You're like, yo, what's his name on Peloton. So shout out to them. But nah, it makes sense because if I'd never, read the comics and stuff, then like I said, I would have probably had it in 8 territory. And it's not even because it was a bad movie. I feel sometimes, like I said, it seems like because DC Comics does the same thing where they just keep recreating Batman and Superman, and they got a whole catalog of like good characters. Or it's even like, man, damn, y'all could recreate some stuff, like create some new ones, because they got the artistic ability, and they payroll and staff. So I think sometimes it's just like, let's go with what we know and let's keep doing it, and it's just like, nah, man, shit. All they had to do was make some minor tweaks and like, nah, this is our new program, and we're running with it. And here's the new character, we're just Falcon when he got new technology. And I think that would have killed the game, or would have gave him a whole new movie line and versus, kind of attaching them to Captain America. But yeah, if I didn't see the movies, then I probably wouldn't even care that much. But I still thought it was a great movie. Yeah.
Oh, you know what I was just thinking? You know how all of the Marvel movies, they do like, we wait at the end and they do the little scene at the end. I think it would be helpful like at the beginning of the movie if they did like a 2-minute overview of the different characters and kind of how they come together.
What the hell? I don't think they should do that. Y'all disregard what Amazing's saying. That's a bad idea.
That's a great idea.
Because they're lazy to go do some research.
I mean, there's so many of them. It would be helpful even for like the diehard fans. I feel like all the good scenes, how everybody comes together.
Oh, hell no.
That's pretty like top-notch idea.
No, not really. But all right, I will let you have it. But all right, rated scale again. You gonna go up and down, Amazing, or you gonna keep your score of 8?
I'll keep my 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my 7 because it's right on the borderline of good and very good. So that's why I feel it was. But nah, definitely a good movie. Recommend y'all go check it out. But all right, we out of here. Peace.